I saw this article in the Dallas Morning News from, we've shouted her out many times, Callie Caplan. If you ever want to jump on the show, we'd be glad to have you. But it was that watch these three numbers because they will help determine whether or not the Mavericks win this game.
Okay, let's see if they won.
Oh my gosh, Mike, I'm afraid I have terrible news for you.
What?
They did not win the game.
They're not playing tonight?
They wouldn't play until tomorrow anyway.
I got tickets for tomorrow for game 6.
Well, I wouldn't drive up there if I were you. But it comes down to this. Rebounds, the third quarter, and turnovers. And
only lost by 18 on the rebounds.
And that was the most jarring one is they got hammered on the rebounds.
I did not see this coming in this series. I thought I was so wrong on this. I really thought we're going to be okay on the rebound situation because they only play one center. He's not that special. He is better than ours. Nothing against ours, but factually, he's the 30th best starting center in the NBA out of starters. And I'm not even sure where he would rank if you brought him off the bench and backup centers. But that's where we're at. But I just didn't think, when you think of they're playing Poole a lot, they're playing Curry a lot. And I know Curry, for his size and everything, he finds rebounds. He's not like, but he's able to find 5 rebounds a game. And that's pretty darn good for, his size and everything. But I just thought, no, we're going to be okay. Wiggins isn't a great rebounder. He's like Dorian Finney-Smith, right? And I just thought, we're going to match him for the first time ever in the history of Luka Doncic playoffs. We're going to be okay on the rebounding situation. And it was as bad as it's ever been.
I was also pretty darn shocked at all of that. And so point number one, you're looking at, obviously you referenced it, the Mavericks got smoked on the boards. Do you look back at this? And I get it. You can look back at this and say, well, Golden State is just better. But as we actually break it down, do you look at rebounding as one of the big things that why we lost this series? Because yes, I do.
I will say I think it might be the biggest need in the offseason. I don't think you can.
Hence our draft discussion.
Yes,
in the break.
I don't think you can. And look, they were a few wins away, 3 wins away from being in the NBA Finals. They were a whole bunch of wins away, though. I mean, it wasn't like we almost won 3 of these games. But at the same time, you made it to the Final Four with a team that can't rebound to save their life against real NBA teams. And when I say that, look, you eliminate the 14 crap teams. And then you get to 16, and let's be honest, 6 of those teams aren't very good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's really 10 teams that are good basketball teams in the NBA, for the most part.
But you're in that group
You
now.
are in that group. And when you start looking at it, you go, you're the worst rebounding team out of all the good teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's tough to win. Maybe there are teams that I just don't remember that are, hey, they were horrible at rebounding, but boy, did they win the championship.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's the case.
Yeah, we'll have to go check on that, but I also am very skeptical about that. And the other thing, the second point on the list was the third quarter.
We did it. We won by 7, so.
Now, here's the thing about that.
Where's that quality shot thing? Did we win this series?
No, don't worry about that. We already determined we didn't like that chart. Technically, the Mavericks did win the third quarter, which I know we will frequently say is the best kind of correct. But honestly, I feel like we lost the third quarter, and here's why. I get they scored more points, but it felt like that game was lost in the third quarter because, and if you want to argue, it was
23,
25. If you want to argue the second quarter, I will certainly listen to that. But the deficit went from 17 to 25 at the midway point. Now, I know the Mavericks went on their crazy run, but to me, that's when I knew the game was lost because it was how are the Mavericks going to come out to start the second half? How they came out to start the second half is they got outscored 18-10. And all of a sudden, their deficit went from 17 to 25. So I get it. If you look at the box score, or the Mavericks had their run, they won the third quarter. But to me, it felt like the game for me was officially lost in that third quarter.
Multiple times I thought about turning it off.
Wow.
I was just hurt. This is the team that I care about the most. And I was just I'm just going to go to bed. I don't want to watch this celebration and I will say this. Luka was getting embarrassed. I texted you guys at halftime.
Yes,
I was like, he's getting embarrassed again. This is like when Chris Paul embarrassed him in the game 2 and it was just like, he's getting blown by. Like he didn't, to your point, your first question of the show was, did he even care? In the third quarter, that did change. But early on in the third quarter, it didn't change too much.
Nope.
And you're just like, Luka, come on.
Because he had that turnover they were harping on him for turnovers.
You're not this bad. I get your shot's not going in. That's what Barkley was kind of saying. Like, I get your shot's not going in. That can happen. It stinks. Kobe Bryant couldn't make a shot to save his life against the Boston Celtics. And people don't remember this because you just remember Kobe won. It was Paul Gasol in Game 7 that led him to the championship. Kobe was horrible in one of those games against the Celtics. It was Game 7, everything on the line. Kobe couldn't make a shot to save his life, but Kobe didn't quit on defense.
Yeah.
Kobe still contributed to the team, even though he couldn't make a shot to save his life, and Paul Gasol was hot. And we need to get a Paul Gasol-like player. We need to get a guy when Luka stinks who can still take over a game offensively. But when you stink, Luka, you can't quit, And so that was the reason why I thought about turning off the television. I'm like, if Luka's going to quit and get this embarrassed, I just can't. It's like I like Luka too much to watch him get embarrassed that much. And he didn't. In the end, he got embarrassed during the game. In the end, he did play much better in the second half, but still at times you're like, are you that out of it? Are you that fat? Are you that slow? I don't know. Like, why are you not giving the effort or letting guys just blow by you?
Now,
Sorry, I went back to old tape.
No, I understand. This question comes up, and it's a good one, and it's one that we talked about the Get Right. Y'all addressed this on Monday from the 817. You guys think fatigue for everyone, not just Luka, was a factor? Absolutely. And this is where I get conflicted, because part of me is like, well, it was fatigue. Part of me is like Golden State was the better team. But then part of me, Mike, and this might be misguided, you don't choke away that lead in Game 2, and it sucks. You lost in Game 5, but now you're down 3-2 going back home just like you were in the Phoenix series after getting embarrassed in Game 5. And, like, there's part of me that's like, you win Game 2, do we look at this all differently? It would still have been a tough hill to climb,
right?
But I wonder about that. And then there's another part of me that's like, this is how it was always going to turn out.